Hey guys, Ronnie here. This week's episode is brought to you by NelsieSpencer.com. Everything Nelsie Spencer and Losing It is on NelsieSpencer.com. There you can find links to Nelsie's book, movie, and classes. Take Nelsie's writing classes or get one-on-one coaching and sharpen your writing skills. Take classes like screenwriting class and novel writing first draft. If you'd like to support the show, grab a couple things at the Losing It merch store where we have mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, hats like this one, the one I'm wearing, and much more. If you're watching this on YouTube, check out links to NelsieSpencer.com and other things such as the links to our equipment we use and all our social handles in the description down below. And if you want to contact us, tell us you love us, hate us, want to tell us you're losing a story and possibly have Nelsie read it on the show, email us at losingitcontact@gmail.com.
Losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it. If you got a story, we don't care if it's happy or gory, so come share your losing it story with us.
Hi guys, it's me, Nelsie Spencer. Welcome to Losing It. Yeah, for a minute I was like, where am I? Okay, right, Losing It. Welcome to Losing It, the podcast where guests come on and tell a story about losing something. And I am here with Ronnie Whaley. Hi, Ronnie.
Hello, I'm here, present.
He's been working on his hellos, like his opening. I think you're killing it.
Yeah. I was thinking of throwing in a high every now and then, but
throwing a high.
Not sure. Still workshopping it. So.
Let's do it in some test markets.
Yeah,
let's
exactly.
Test market the high, right? We don't want to just jump into it. You don't know.
Yeah, how inclusive is the high? You know?
Oh, hi, folks. You got to say hi, folks.
Yeah, exactly. Folks. How the
folk are you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how are you?
I'm good. I'm sleep deprived, but I seem to get used to it. I'm doing okay.
Yeah. So what are you averaging sleep-wise?
You know what it is? It's not that I'm not sleeping enough. It's just I'm staying up too long. I'm staying up too long in the day, you know? So I still get like a full hour's rest. It's just I stay up. So I'll wake up.
How many hours? How many hours?
Like 8 hours. 8 hours. You
awesome.
know, so it's just staying up, you know? So I'm not deprived of sleep. I'm more of just like
your schedule's all fucked up.
Yeah, it's scheduling. It's just sleep scheduling. Yeah. So, but I'm doing great. Doing fantastic.
Ronnie will like text me and it's, 6 a.m. And I'm like, did he get up or has he been up?
It's 50-50 chance.
50-50. 50-50.
Yeah, it is.
And for me, I'm up every morning between 6 and 6:30. Just like I don't get out of bed because I get sucked into, social media, and I have to put something up on TikTok or like, so I'll wake up at 6:30 and then it's 8:15. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I should walk the dog.
Maybe
I should walk there's no maybes. I always have to walk her. What's going on with you? I mean, this isn't going to come out for a few weeks, but Ronnie's on his way back to the Philippines, hitting New York on the way there. And now we've got this whole, what is it? Which variant is it?
The Delta variant.
The Delta variant.
Yeah. Yeah. I was supposed to, the original plan was I was going to stay there for a week in New York because I'm in New Hampshire now, stay in New York a week before my flight, fly out to the Philippines. But because of this Delta variant, it's kind of ruined my plans. And I was supposed to stay in an Airbnb with a couple friends, a friend that's already in New York, and for that week. And a couple days ago, she tested positive for the Delta variant. And
the dental variant where your teeth get really achy.
Yeah.
And they can't really smell anything. So it's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's a nurse. And she said, well, we were talking to Heidi Haddad about that. And she said that she made an observation when I told her the story that if she didn't get tested, because she needed to get tested before she go in the hospital because she is a nurse, she wouldn't have known that she even had it because she's vaccinated. She just felt kind of weird that day. That's it.
That's the thing. And I don't want to get political because, but it is like, oh, the Delta. Look, and I know you're going to the Philippines and that's a whole other kettle of peas because not as many people are vaccinated because it's not as easy to get vaccinated. But so you don't want to bring the Delta variant there because, so many people are at risk. But for if you're vaccinated and you get it, it's like, gee, I feel a little off. It's not killing people. It's not killing vaccinated people. She said as if she knew what she was talking about, but I think I do.
Yeah, I mean, she's vaccinated. She's all vaccinated up. And she didn't feel, but the only reason that she's quarantined right now is because she's, we're all afraid of spreading it to people who are unvaccinated. Like, we don't want to be the reason anyone gets sick or something were to happen, We don't want to be that reason, which is kind of crazy if everyone was just vaccinated.
But I kind of feel like people that choose not to get vaccinated, that's a different story than if you're like somewhere where you can't get it, like the Philippines. That's true. I mean, right? So people who choose not to get vaccinated, if they get sick, that's on them. I kind of think that because they've made a choice which I almost made. And if I was somebody who had made that choice to not get vaccinated and you got me sick, I would go, well, those are the consequences of my choice.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't be, and even if I died, my fault. It's on me. No, it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So it cut my New York trip short, which was kind of a bummer. And I'll only be in New York for 2 days, but I won't be seeing her. Which sucks because I haven't seen her in a long time. And we made plans and all this. I just can't get tested. I can't test positive before I get in the plane and when I land. So I have to, I can't take any risks. But interesting that you mentioned that the Philippines and how it was really hard to get the vaccine. And there was only like limited, and also they're doing that thing where like you get 2 doses, right? But both doses, they won't tell you what vaccine brand. They wouldn't tell you, and it would be mixed up. It's all crazy. But just a few days ago, the U.S. and the Philippines striked a military deal. And 2 days after that, there was about 3 million free Moderna vaccines shipped over to the Philippines 2 days later. Yeah.
From where?
From the U.S. to the Philippines.
Right on. So the Philippines and the U.S. are essentially allies? Is that what you're saying? Like sort of officially allies?
Well, it's interesting because
look at us getting all political. Getting all global.
Look, I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about.
Okay, I don't either. So I'm going to, I think we're a good pair. Before. So you go.
Yeah. So, I know that for a fact that in the South China Sea, there are some islands that supposedly the Chinese have been slowly taking over, which belong to the Philippines, which is causing tension between the Chinese and the Philippines and the U.S. And but in the more recent years, with our President Duterte, he has been he's been kind of cozying up with the Chinese, which has been, making the U.S. kind of worried. And it's kind of become some sort of weird bidding war for the Philippines. With the Philippines on,
who's going to win their affection, right? Are the Philippines going to turn towards, or were they going to turn towards the U.S.? Hey guys, look what I got. I got you some vaccines. Or are they going to turn towards China, who's like, hey, we're going to take your fucking islands, bitches. Right? That's
It's like, well, the thing about China is they got the money, Yeah. That's great.
Good, right?
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. So I mean, it's either here or there. The great thing is that there's 3 million vaccines coming to the Philippines, to a place that was very, it was very hard to get. So
fantastic.
That's the upside to all
really,
that.
That's what matters. And
That's
what
really what
matters
I care
is
about.
it came from the U.S. and it makes us look good.
And God, do we need that?
Because sometimes our PR is not looking so good.
Not too hot.
Yeah. Although I don't know. I think we got China beat. And, know, again, I'm getting political. Let's move off of this. Let's talk about my lipstick color, if we could. Yeah, so that's the big news. I have nothing to beat that. Walked the dog. She rolled in the sand. She rolled in some seaweed. We made friends with the dog. Oh, I will say that there was, this is my big news, okay? We made friends with a Labradoodle, who was the size of a Great Dane, kind of gray, like the goofiest looking Labradoodle I've ever seen. And he's like a puppy, just straining to get at Callie. And Callie's like, I don't know. And he got a little chubby for her. He got a little puppy erection for my dog. She played hard to get. Yeah, he did. He did. So that's my big news. You've got like Delta variants and international travel. I have a horny puppy. That's it. That's what I got for you.
I think your story is better.
Thank you. I didn't want to say that, but I'm glad you did.
Yeah. It's wholesome.
And Callie she's awfully pretty. So I'm such a sick woman. Yeah. But I will say that I'm pretty excited about our guest today because I don't know, she's funny and she's fun and she's a dog person. Like there's a lot of dogs that factor into her Instagram feed. She had a dog with an interesting lineage, which maybe she'll talk about because I'm going to ask her about it. But she's just this funny, interesting comic. And once again, you found her, Ronnie. Am I right?
Yeah, I got her. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Ronnie found her. Anyway, she's funny. She's smart. And I can't wait to learn more about her. So check out Aubree Sweeney. All right. So hi, everybody. As I said, I have a fun, interesting guest. And how do I know she's fun and interesting? Because that's only the kind of guests I have, number one. And number two, I've checked out her Instagram. I've checked out a few of her videos. She's a dog person, so I like her already. And she's also a comedian. She has a podcast, Comedy with Camping or Camping with Comedy. She'll make that clear when I introduce her, but I'm really excited to talk to Aubree Sweeney. Hey, Aubree.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Well, thanks for coming on. How are you doing?
I'm great. And you mentioned that I'm a dog person. I don't know if you can see him behind me, but I have. Yes, I went to a while ago. I went. This is my highest quality paint work back here. I did a wine and design out in Burbank, and it was like a paint your pet thing. And that's my babes.
Stop it! You did that?
I did, but I mean, you like send them a picture and they stretch it onto a canvas. So it's kind of like a paint by numbers.
Okay.
And there's a professional artist there who's like, makes it not look like kids art. Which is kind of my wheelhouse of acrylic painting, but it was fun.
Please. When my kids are grown, but when my daughter was like 4 or 5, maybe, no, she must have been 6 or 7. We took a class at the Metropolitan Museum of Art that was like a mommy and kid class. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be so great. And you know what? I'm going to discover this undiscovered talent I have in painting. No, I don't have it at all.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was like,
well, it's probably still fun.
It was still fun. Yeah. But every week, while I was creating it, I was thinking, you know what? This is good. And then at the end, I was like, nope, it's shit. I'm just going to, it's okay. It's not my strong suit.
It's okay. Maybe don't put that one on the refrigerator.
Yeah, exactly. So that's your pup back. But do you have more than one dog?
No, I just have the one dog, but Cappy, who is actually my fur brother, he takes over a lot of my Instagram because I do spend a lot of time. I'm originally from Nebraska. I'm actually right now in my parents' basement. I'm back. Yeah, I'm back home. My birthday's coming up, and I always do a show in my hometown to celebrate my birthday. So, yep. So
Happy
I'm back.
birthday.
So thank you. Thank you. So yeah, Cappy is basically like our other best friend. And then I have a cat named Atlas who I ended up kind of accidentally adopting right at the beginning of COVID. I was out in Long Beach and I was getting ready to leave because there was really nothing to do. And this stray cat was just like, hey girl, like, what are you doing? And I was like, not adopting a cat right now is what I'm doing.
Sorry. Busy.
And then I ended up like all of the no-kill shelters had already shut down for the pandemic. So I found an emergency vet that like checked, make sure it was like didn't have a microchip or anything like that. And they're like, this is definitely a stray cat, like looking at his battle wounds and stuff. And I thought, well, I'm going to take him to Nebraska. I'll find him a home. I have a great relationship with the Nebraska Humane Society. And I mean, like before we even left the vet, he was like totally my cat. So now I am a kitten owner person. I don't really own him. He's kind of running my life. So
well, I'm a big animal person. I only have one dog. And actually for a while now, I've only had one dog, and meaning I had two cats way back when. But yeah, I love animals, and I especially love dogs because they love you like nobody else.
Exactly. Yeah, there's nothing like coming home and then Paco's like, she's here.
She's here. I thought I'd never see you again. Oh my God, I love you so much.
Yep, exactly. Yep. So I don't know. I love that guy.
Oh, the best. So we're going to get to the dog that was part coyote. We're going to get to that because I am fascinated by that. But before that, so you're from Nebraska? Is that where you were born?
Yes. Yep. Nebraska. I grew up here. I left to go to college in Tucson. So I was out in Arizona for about 5 years. And then I moved out to LA after that.
So how long you been in LA?
10 years. And then, well, now things are kind of weird because I'm still based in Los Angeles, but something that kind of weirdly opened up for me were some opportunities in like Nashville and like just the Southeast and the Atlanta area. And for comedy, like I've always for the last 5 years, I bought an RV and I've just been touring the country and like doing shows that way. But one of the like things about the Southeast is since it's always a vacation place, it's very hard unless you've planned 6-10 months in advance to get camping. So during the pandemic, which is still like hard for me to wrap my brain around, but I bought a little beach cottage in Panama City, Florida. So
no kidding.
Yeah, so that I would have basically a place to camp when I was working there. So yeah, so now it's just like, I don't even really, I'm in this weird place where I'm like, well, I mean, I am still Los Angeles, but now I own like, I don't know. There's just like a lot of, it's just been a very big like shuffle of, like what's going on now. But hey, I mean, you got to take opportunities.
So Panama City, Florida looks so, how'd you land on that?
Well, it is about a 5-hour drive outside of Atlanta. So, I mean, it's a bit of a jaunt, but one of my top favorite things about Los Angeles is being able to surf and the ocean. So I wanted to put myself.
And as a woman who grew up in Nebraska, of course, surfing was in your life.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I grew up with it.
Some of the best spots, U.S. surfing spots, right there in Nebraska.
Right in the plains.
Oh, yeah. Take a left at that cornfield, and my God, there's a surf spot.
There it is. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, bring your snorkel.
Okay. But back up to how you ended up being a surfer when you grew up in Nebraska.
Well, that kind of came with the whole motorhome thing too, because I was finding, I mean, when I first moved out to Los Angeles, I had my little apartment in the city, and it was cool, I mean, because one of the big pulls of Los Angeles. And you moved
to LA to do stand-up.
Actually, for screenwriting, I moved out there to get my MFA in screenwriting. So after I graduated, there was this weird, like,
Where'd you go?
New York Film Academy. It's now it's associated with Warner Brothers, but when I was there, they were on Universal Studios backlot. So it was this really cool program where you were just like, there.
Very cool
know,
to
like
be on a lot when you're doing screenwriting. Very
totally.
Cool.
Yeah. So from there, I graduated and was very proud of what I had done with my thesis. But I mean, you're still, look at the people that flock to places like LA or New York City every minute of every day. And so I didn't really know exactly what to do. So I ended up going through the Upright Citizens Brigade program while I was there for improv. And one of my instructors said, Aubree, your monologues are a little bit too long for what we're doing here, but they're really great. Like, you have such a structure and just like a knack for stand-up. So off of that advice, I was like, So I went to an open mic in North Hollywood. Sucked so bad. I mean, you don't even there's no more suckage than what I did up there, but I loved it. And it was just right.
Amazing that you totally sucked and you loved it.
The worst. I mean, I feel like anybody who was there is like anybody that was at that open mic was just devastated. They're like, what has happened to us? Why did we have to hear this? Like, I never wanted to, they all moved home after witnessing me do stand up for the first time.
They followed you into the parking lot and said, honey, this isn't the thing for you. This isn't for you. How could you have, what did you love about it if you sucked so badly?
I just loved being on stage. I loved the opportunity, even if the writing wasn't there or if it wasn't a good joke, just that opportunity to like go out there and say it. I think this is funny at home. I said it out loud. Obviously, it's not funny, but I know, I would rather immediately know if something needs work than just like sit with it and be like, well,
you spend 6 months on a screenplay and send it in crickets, and it's like, then you just want to jump out of a window.
Exactly.
That is true. That is such a good point. Like, right away whether you suck or not.
Exactly.
And everybody who listens to the podcast has heard me say this 100 times. I did a little bit of stand-up in the 90s and then a little bit of stand-up about 4 years ago. So I can't really call myself a stand-up because what you really need to earn that title, I didn't put in the hours. But what I did love about it is that autonomy, is that these are my jokes. What do you think? The back and forth that you have with an audience, the fact that you can ad lib, the fact that some ad lib line could take to a second and a third. I mean, I love the immediacy of it as well. And there's something very powerful about it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, and I think as I grew as a comedian, because I did enjoy improv and I learned a lot from Upright Citizens Brigade. And then, as you get, you get that stage presence and you get that comfort on stage, and then it's really takes it to that like connecting opportunity where even though I'm the one that has the mic and I'm doing most of the gabbing, but like we're still connecting, we're sharing these experiences, and it's exactly what you said. It's empowering to just be these moments.
I feel like it should be a conversation. You know what I mean? Like, because you're saying something and sometimes you say a line and you're not looking for the joke, but you just want to make sure they're with you still, know? And and I really love that. And I like that as an audience member. I love that connection, knowing that the comic is waiting for me and really engaging with me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So screenwriter, like get your degree.
Right. You got to get your degree.
Let's see, screenwriting, stand up, and you got sucked in.
I got sucked in. Yeah. I went down the rabbit hole, and then all of a sudden I was full time. I had been doing, like odd stuff. Like everybody I know from LA that was in my program ended up signing up at Central Casting. So we were like running around doing basically just trying to afford to like continue to live in Los Angeles to pursue these dreams. And I got hooked up. I was doing collection calls for a company, which is like the worst job I've ever had in my life. And I was very bad at it because, I mean, if I called you and you were like, oh yeah, I stubbed my toe, I'd be like, oh, don't worry about it, I'll call you in 30 days. That's a hardship, Like I was not a good, I was not a good collection call employee at all. But then all of a sudden, it's like fast forward and I'm able to like quit these jobs and buy a motorhome and start traveling. And it's just been amazing.
How quickly did you start getting paid gigs, and how quickly were you like quit your day job kind of a thing?
I went full-time stand-up. Basically, I think I was I'm horrible at time. I think it was like my 4th or 5th year in was when I was able to just like dive in and go full-time. It was really just luck. A lot of it was luck because I have always been a dog lover. And when I was first getting started, you'd book like the 3-minute gig or like the 5-minute gig or anything like that. And I'm not knocking it. There's nothing wrong with that. You've got to learn and you got to start someplace. But I had a lot of stories about like growing up with dogs and cats and, things like that. And so I started reaching out to local animal shelters and pet events and was like, hey, can I MC your Halloween event? And that is
so smart.
Well, it was just fun, and it gave me an opportunity to meet new people. And I went into it really with no goal in mind other than I'm going to get to meet people. This is going to help me be better. And I'm going to have a ton of fun doing it. And it really expedited my career just by doing something because I wanted to do it. And but it's always funny. People still like razz me about it because I have to be very careful because I would seriously just talk about dogs and cats for hours. So I have to remind myself when I'm like planning a set.
One of the sets that I watched of yours, you were like, and if you're wondering if all I do is talk about dogs and cats, yes, that is all I talk about, which I loved. And you were like, yes, dog hair, animal fur all over me. And,
glitter.
And right. That's just who I am and, deal with it. So,
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So,
but I think what's great about that also is part of, I'm a writer and a writing teacher. And one of the things I talk about all the time is, we have to find our voice. You don't want to go up there and try to be another comic. You don't want to write a screenplay and try to be Quentin Tarantino or Nora Ephron. You can be inspired by them, but the minute you try to be them, you're fucked. And also the minute you try to figure out what's the industry looking for, and so that's one of the things I liked about you too. I immediately liked you. It's like, oh, well, she does not give a fuck. I don't. Her so much. And the power in that, there's so much power in that.
Yep.
This is it. This is what I got. Maybe I'm for you. Maybe I'm not. But that, right?
Yep, exactly. There was a moment when that happened for me. I was at University of Arizona and there was our teacher was out for some reason. I don't know, but it was like a TA who was maybe like 2 years older than me. And I had written this story where a dog was basically like reflecting on his life and like what had happened that day. And it's like a senior dog. It was like very moving. And she said, no one's going to buy or read anything where the dogs are talking. And I was like, don't care.
Yeah. And like number one, don't care. Number two, bullshit. Did you ever see the Incredible Journey, which is just 3 animals and it's like
and Homeward Bound.
Hello.
Yeah.
I mean, no one's ever gonna.
Nobody's gonna do that.
Never do that.
And it's so funny because it's like a running gag in the Sweeney family, and because I was fear. That was like one of those, I walked out of class, after it was over and I like called my mom and I was like, this girl, blah, blah, blah. And that's a great story. And, then the other day, I saw the new Orkin commercial for the like bug people. It's like a German Shepherd. Have you seen this commercial?
No.
It's like a German Shepherd and he's watching the Orkin lady and she's got like a thing for the cobwebs, but he's talking. And I was like, I wish that I remembered that TA's name and could find her on Facebook and like start tagging her in this shit.
First of all, she was 2 years older than you. So you're like, honey, get some life experience and get back to me. And number two, learn how to be a teacher because especially when it comes to writing, especially when it comes to anything creative, you're being so vulnerable when you share something creative and to go, no one's ever like,
Yep.
Is that a good teaching style?
Right. Well, and where does that take your career? Like if you're stuck in a place where you're like, well, I mean, like you're saying, you can't focus on what the industry wants, because what the industry wants changes every single second.
Yeah.
Of every day, basically. I mean, remember when all we saw was vampires, and now all we see is superheroes. So like if I try to catch up and do a superhero, right, we're going to be back to zombies by the time my superhero.
Absolutely. Or, unicorns or Pegasus, or
I'd be okay with unicorns.
What?
I like unicorns.
Who doesn't like a unicorn?
Yeah, like that seems like a good brand for like just CW.
Have you seen Harry Potter?
Yes.
Their blood is silver.
I know, right? They're magic.
And their blood can heal you.
Mm-hmm.
Unicorns are fantastic.
They are.
So, well, I love that. It's really funny because the person who I actually interviewed him yesterday, and his name's Paul Green. He's a comic. You might know him. He's an LA comic, actually.
Yes, I do know him. Yeah.
And he also, interestingly, is from Arizona.
Right.
Not from
I think
Nebraska.
That's how I know him. I think we were on a show together in Arizona.
Yeah, and he started out with improv and then segued from improv into stand-up. So it's kind of amazing that would happen. I don't know, 2 days in a row.
Right. It's kind of weird.
So when you called up mom and dad and you said, Mom, Dad, yeah, I know I got the undergrad degree and I just got the graduate degree in the screenwriting thing, but I think I'm going to drive around around the country and do stand-up. How'd they take it?
Really wonderful. I'm lucky. My parents have always been super, super supportive on, Aubree, just let her do it. Like, like she's got a plan. She's going to be safe. She's going to be smart about it. And I mean, my mom and dad, even more so, my mom, my dad is not really who you bring for like RV shopping. My mom is more the haggler. But my mom came with me. But my mom came with me, got me a great deal on my RV. And so I mean, just all in all, very, very supportive, very encouraging. I hit the jackpot on that side of things. Yeah, I think
so great.
If anything, what they would prefer is for me to like not go surfing. The
surfing makes them nervous.
Yeah, the surfing makes them nervous. It's funny because if I do go surfing, I need to like text my mom. I mean, I'm an adult and I don't mind at all. It's actually kind of makes me feel good. Somebody's worried about me, but I have to send her a text before I go on the water. And then the second, I'm still wetsuit, hair like splashed across my face. And I got to text her, I'm back at my car. I did not get barbed by a stingray this time. But yeah.
Did you have an encounter with a stingray?
No, I haven't. I have been next to people who have gotten barbed and, and supposedly it's like not that big of a deal and everybody's so cool about it. I think that I will go, it'll happen. And I think that I will be like crazy.
Are there a lot of stingrays? Are there a lot of stingrays off LA in the California waters?
Yes, there is. And it's pretty much like from like March to October. You see a lot of them, but I mean, I don't know.
You see dolphins though.
You see dolphins. Well, and that's one thing I'm excited about in Florida is because in Florida you see manatees. So I'm pretty
but manatees are only fresh water.
Are they? I thought they would be in like the bay with. See, I need to learn more about Florida.
I think manatees are only fresh water, but there's all this inland water in Florida. Lots and lots of inland water.
Right.
And there's plenty of manatees to be seen on the West Coast, which is, I know you're in the Gulf, but if you go down the West Coast, there's plenty of manatees to be seen.
Okay. Because I really, really want to meet a manatee. They're just like,
they're all like, hi, how are you?
Right? I'm your best friend. Yeah. Because there's a guy that I follow. He's a photographer on Instagram. I wish I remembered his name because his pictures are like so amazing. But he goes paddleboarding all the time and he's got all these like pictures of manatees like just chilling with him. And I'm like, want that to happen.
Want that. Me too. Want that so much.
Yeah.
Oh my
definitely.
goodness. Well, I want to hear more about your surfing, but we're going to have to do that for another day, unless your Losing It story has something to do with surfing. But I am pretty intrigued about a gal from Nebraska who's like
learning to surf.
Learning to surf and clearly knows how to surf now. My son's a surfer. My son actually shapes surfboards too.
Wow.
Yeah. Something he started doing during the pandemic, and he's now like he made one for himself. He made one for his girlfriend. He's making one for a friend. Yeah.
That's really cool. And it takes a lot of patience and so many skills.
I grew up in Southern California in Palos Verdes, if you know, right down the coast. And my first, 5 boyfriends were surfers.
Yep.
Because they're beautiful, those surfers.
Yeah, they are.
They are beautiful.
They are. That's one thing. I mean, you can definitely just say, oh, well, I'm going to paddle out. And you can just sit on your board and just like watch
just look
the beautiful people.
Just look at shoulders. And yeah. So I understand you have a losing it story for me. Is that correct?
I do have a losing it story. So this is actually pretty recent and I'm excited about it. So my life has been very much defined by, I have a needle phobia, like a very, very bad needle phobia. We have no idea why. As far as I'm concerned, I'd never had any trauma with a needle. I've never done heroin. Just
I remember that.
Yeah, I hope.
That.
Right.
Yeah.
And and I'm at this like place in my life where I've decided everything has. I've always wanted to be a mom, but being on the road and things nothing ever just really like seemed to line up. And now I've got the house and it's like, whoa, like it really just seems like everything is lining up to try to be a mom. And one of the things about that is I haven't decided which way I'm going to go. I've been looking very seriously at foster to adopt and also at IUI. But both of those things, guess what? You need to get your blood taken. and I was just I've had knee surgeries and dealt with needles and vaccines and everything. And it was just like, you just kind of bear down and do it. But this is supposed to be like a fun process. So I started going to hypnotherapy for my needle phobia. And it was just I was like, well, I just want to do something to fix this. And I just got to the Googling and I was like, what can I do to find, I feel like with a phobia, you can never really get rid of it. But I thought, well, what can I do
So I'm going to slow you down a little bit because my daughter also has this.
Okay.
A little bit. I don't know if she has it worse or better, but she was a kid that when I would take her, I almost said to the vet, when I would take her to the pediatrician for the shots, tears and like sobs, pinprick in the finger, forget about it. Was that how it was for you?
Yep. Same thing. Yep. Prick my finger. Crying. I fainted. I knocked out my front teeth at a blood draw at like college, just trying to give blood to the Red Cross.
Well, that's pretty ballsy though. You've got a needle phobia, but still there you are. I'm going to give that blood to the Red Cross.
Yeah. Well,
I get some points for that, Aubree.
I kind of took that like Nebraska, like cowboy approach where like, I'm just going to push through this. And like, if it, like that kind of old school mentality of like, oh, it's okay that my ankle's broken. I'm going to skate through this,
Right. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to push through this and oh, damn, I knocked my teeth out.
Yeah. It was not a good choice because it really like was a major setback. But yeah, I'm surprised at how common a needle phobia and is. And mine goes like from needle phobia to like, because after a blood draw, like they put that cotton ball, like I hate, like cotton balls would send me into like the, when like something's and you're just like kind of tense up and you're like, I better sit down before I am out of town.
So I'm guessing your ears are not pierced.
My ears are pierced. But
how'd you do that, miss?
They were, when I was a baby, I was huge. And everybody thought I was a boy. I was like 12 pounds when I was born. I was like a gigantic, like, this is actually a really funny story. I was there, but I don't really remember it. But when I was born, they, put me in with all the other babies. And I was a 12-pound baby next to like normal baby-sized kids. And my mom, who was just like destroyed physically and emotionally from carrying and then delivering a 12-pound.
And how is your mom a big person, a little person?
She's
medium?
she's about my size, like 5'5". Like, yeah. And so I had to have a C-section, and they like wheeled her in, and my grandpa and my dad had to go to Kmart because they didn't have any baby clothes at the hospital that were big enough for my beastly ass. So
that is crazy.
And when my grandpa and dad went to Kmart, they were still under the impression like my mom was like kind of had contractions. So they're like, it's going to take a while, and everybody was stressed out. They thought I was a boy. So they got like a little green sweatshirt outfit, like a sweatsuit, and it had a football on it. So my mom gets wheeled in, and this like attending person goes, well, that kid's going to be a great linebacker for Husker football. And then my mom was like, that's my little girl, you know? And so, like,
that's the opening scene of the movie. Aubree, that's the opening scene of the movie.
Right.
The Aubree Sweeney story.
Exactly. So, but yeah, so when I was little, there was all this confusion because everybody thought I was a boy. And then it was recommended to my mom to get my ears pierced to prevent that. And unfortunately, everybody still thought I was a little boy, but my parents were like horrible people for like it being the 80s and piercing their son's ears.
Oh my God. People just have too many opinions. You know what I mean? Oh my goodness.
But yeah, so I do have my ears pierced because I don't remember it happening is why my ears are pierced. But yeah, I've been so impressed with, because I went very open-minded into, phobia, like hypnotherapy. Because I get that I do have, like, it's an issue. And there's only it's not like I can be magically fixed, and but it's just been amazing.
Yeah,
and
you can't cowboy Nebraska your way through it. You can't, because when it's a phobia, you're powerless over it because you have a physical reaction to it that you can't do anything about.
Exactly. And so it's just been really amazing. Like, we've done the doctor, like, he just listens to me. I said, well, this is how I feel. Like, this is what's moving along. This is what's better. And like, we do the, the hypnosis and like really making it, more positive. And it's just been really amazing, like learning those tools. And
how long have you been doing it now?
I started the hypnotherapy thing in June. So we have like one more session, but to be honest, like, I want to finish the last session because, but to be honest, like, if I got a call right now and they're like, you need to come over and get your blood work, like, I could do it. And
wow.
Yeah. And there's no shaking. I'm not clammy. Because before even talking about it, you would have just seen me go gray. And yeah, so I don't know. I think it just really speaks to, I don't know, just what's out there and like how simple it can be to get help with something that you didn't know was helpable, I guess.
Yeah. So it's interesting because of course I know the term hypnotherapy, and, when I think of hypnotism, there's a watch that's being,
right.
swung in front of my face. So walk me through what a session looks like, or what the first session was like.
So yeah, totally. The first session, it was just, and we've done it all on Zoom, which has been really, really cool too. But I just kind of explained, like, this is what I want. These are what my goals are. And I'm looking for the tools to help me accomplish those goals. And I explained, like, the physical reaction that I would have to, talking about like blood work or needles or cotton balls. And and that part was like very much like the therapy part of it, where he listened, he, followed up with more questions. And then, we like redefined in more simple terms, like, what are the goals here? And then, we did like a 30-minute session where you just kind of do like the deep relaxation and, like, close your eyes and you kind of do the countdown thing. And then, the doctor is fantastic because he basically just kind of put that imagery in where, like, before we did the hypnosis session, we talked about like, cause fainting, I mean, my blood pressure is dropping and like, we need that to stop happening. So we talked about like, even though you think, oh, like a person without a phobia, when they go to get blood drawn, they're just going to kind of like relax. But for someone whose blood pressure will drop because they're hysterical, you kind of need that up. So like he talked about like fighter pilots, you know, like when they're up in the air and like to keep the pressure, they like really tighten their abs and like kind of, you know, like squeeze their bodies, like, you know, like you're doing a core workout. And so we had talked about that before. And then he like worked that in. So then it's kind of just training my brain to be like, okay, this is what's happening. I need to like basically like clinch up in order to keep my blood, you know.
So actually having something physical to do to counteract the physical reaction your body is having as a result of the phobia.
Exactly. And then like in the talk downs, it kind of is like making it fun. Like, oh, you're seeing you're seeing a phlebotomist that you recognize and, you know, you're talking about the weather and like now, you know, and then like, as you're kind of in this like relaxed state, you're talking about, you know, like the fun of it, like you're getting, you know, it's like, oh, I'm really excited to see this person, even though I'm attaching a negative thing to them that they're going to stick me with that dumb needle, but like they're a really cool person, you know, and like,
right. It's completely reframing it. It's completely reframing it and focusing on how much you like this person versus the fear of the needle.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And he also, and this is something that I wouldn't have thought, because I think for me, you know, I was like, well, I need to fix this for this specific thing. But like, he's also worked in things like in the future. I mean, it's not like the only time in my life moving forward that I'm going to need to give blood is like specifically for this, you know, so he'll like work in like, oh, you know, you gotta, you know, you're at a blood drive, or like, oh, you know, you got to go in and, you know, get blood drawn for something else. Like, so it's kind of like that generalization of it. So it's not just specific to like, I'm okay with it this time.
So you can use these tools
forever. Yeah. So it's just been a really exciting, you know, thing to, you know, because I feel like we're all defined by things, but it's usually, you know, you want it to be like, I'm defined as a comedian who travels in an RV or, you know, is whatever, not like I'm defined by a fear. So it's just been really great to lose that as much as you can, you know, gain knowledge to overcome it, basically.
Yeah. So congratulations.
Thank you.
That is so awesome.
Thanks.
And from a phobia that you've had as far back as you can remember to last June, and now here it's just the beginning of August, and you've had this huge shift.
Absolutely.
Would you call it a huge shift?
Huge. Definitely a huge shift. And if I would have only thought like, you know, I mean, you should never do that, but I'm like, oh, if I would have thought of going to hypnotherapy 20 years ago. You know?
Right. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Yeah. But I'm glad yourself crazy.
I'm glad I'm doing it now, you know, so
congratulations.
Thank
and that's
you.
Amazing. And thank goodness first of all, I mean, you seem like this kind of person because you're like, well, I'm going to go to California and become a screenwriter. Oh, well, you know what? I really like this stand-up thing, even though I fucking completely sucked the first time I did it. This is for me. So then fast forward, you're doing it. You're making a living doing it. You're traveling all around the country because you also love to travel and, you know, camping and comedy. And then you're like, oh, well, I want to have a kid. And whether I foster to adopt, or I have to do the IUI or the UIE, whatever the heck it is.
That's
it's going to involve needles. So you were like, figure it out.
Yep.
So congratulations and good on you for just like, you know, there's your Nebraska. There's the cowboy in you. You're like, well, I'm going to fucking figure it out and I'm going to do it.
Right. Exactly.
Right. So let me ask you another question, which I think is important because of the way the world is and just in general. What was your journey like from knowing that you always wanted to have a mom and have kids to deciding, you know what, I'm going to do this on my own? Because I'm assuming that when you were thinking I always want to have a kid, you probably had a partner when you were growing up. When you had the fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
So somewhere along the line you went, well, I don't have a partner, but that doesn't change the fact that I want to have kids. So talk to me about that, because I think that's a really fantastic thing that you are doing and sort of making that leap or that change.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and I think it just comes down to, I mean, I've been, I've dated, I've had long relationships, I've had successful relationships that just ended, I mean, for really, and no one's fault, just it was, the relationship ran its course. And I think that was something, I mean, really, like, whether or not I had a partner or a spouse has really never been something that I was ever worried about. I mean, it just kind of like, well, it is what it is. And if it works out and I find someone who ends up being my travel companion, great. If not, great. I mean, it's just really like one of those, but I think that
So why do you think that is though, Aubree? Because I think that's pretty interesting, because I think it's a pretty normal thing in our culture, especially with women, regardless of whether you're attracted to men or attracted to women or whatever. I think it's a pretty normal thing in our culture to feel like that our self-worth sometimes is attached to whether we have a mate or a partner or not. So why do you think for you that you didn't feel like that defined you? Because I think that's kind of unusual.
Right. Well, I mean, I don't have an exact answer. No one's actually asked me that before. So
that's why we're the podcast that we are. Because I ask the tough questions, Aubree.
Right. So I really haven't put any thought into that question. But I think that it comes down to, I mean, maybe that I feel capable. I feel like I have, even if it's not a significant other, I have I have a support system in my parents and my friends. And I mean, and for me, I've been really lucky because I have support system like scattered across the country between like traveling and college and mostly traveling, a type of thing. But yeah, I think that I was raised in a household where, and I am an only child. And I think that it's kind of that attitude of like, if there's something that I need to do, like I'm going to learn how to do it. Like if I'm out in the boonies and there's something wrong with my motorhome, by God, I'm going to figure out how to fix it because I'm not, so I think that I wasn't raised with those like strict, like gender type of rules. So I'm thinking that like maybe that like just kind of like, not like just trying to think of why I'm the way that I am.
Yeah. Get back to me on that, Aubree.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get back to you on that one.
Yeah,
I'm not exactly sure.
I think it's awesome.
Mm-hmm,
I think it's awesome because you're approaching this. Well, I always knew I wanted to be a mom and have kids. And so now, I'm going to do it versus like, there doesn't seem to be any, it's just like, this is the next right step versus some, which I think is what happens usually, is that I haven't found the right person and what's wrong with me and life is so hard and I'm flawed. I'm somehow fundamentally flawed. I mean, I've been thinking back recently about like how much, like I thought I'll never have a boyfriend. Like I had all these, like I didn't have a boyfriend when I felt like that would define me in high school. And then for a while in my 20s, I didn't have a boyfriend. But when it was happening, I felt like that was the only thing that mattered. Like, I have to have a boyfriend because if I have a boyfriend, then I matter. Mm-hmm. And, and I don't know how much of that was a function of my generation or was a function of just incredibly low self-esteem and thinking that somebody else was going to fill me up, which, so I'm just impressed because I think you sound to me a little bit like an anomaly, and in a really good way.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. So right on, sister friend. That's what I say.
Thanks.
Wow. So, tell me again the name of your podcast.
It's called Comedy and Camping with Aubree Sweeney, me. But yeah, it's fun. It's pretty much just everywhere that podcasts
are available. You can listen where all fine podcasts are available.
And YouTube.
Comedy and camping. And yes. Yeah, you have a YouTube channel, right?
I do. Yeah. I'm actually like trying really hard. It's new. I've been focused so much. It was something that came for me during the pandemic. I wish I would have done something as cool as like learn how to make mold surfboards, but I decided to be better at web content.
And the person who's molding surfboards I wish I had a YouTube channel. So whatever, you know what I mean? It's like, look at her sing that Blind Melon song.
Blind Melon song.
Right on key, and those teeth and that hair. She's fucking great, man.
Yeah, the hair didn't come today.
That's all right. I have hair for both of us.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it. I was like, oh, it's too hot to make this work.
So what's your YouTube channel?
It is just, I actually don't, if you just like YouTube Aubree Sweeney, it's there.
It'll be there.
It'll be there.
It'll be there.
It'll be there. I don't have a custom link or anything like that.
Oh, for God's sake, Aubree, get it together.
I'm
Jeez,
just like letting everybody down.
You are. I feel let down. I feel let down.
I just wrecked the whole day. I'm so sorry, Nelsie.
Yeah. We're scrapping. We're scrapping this whole fucking thing.
Yeah,
okay?
It's over.
Well, I'm so excited for you. I just love your spirit. I do want to hear about the coyote dog, but we're going to have to find out about that at another time. Because it was a whole stand-up set you had about this dog that everybody thought it was a wolf, right?
Well, everybody thought he was like, I got busted out that he was a coyote at a dog park, and I thought he was just like a dog. And so somebody was like, "Oh, that's a coyote. Like, you can't be here with that coyote." And then I always joke that but he's nice. He wouldn't drop an anvil on you. But I was
left
like,
the anvil in the car. Okay.
Yeah,
and I don't see any roadrunners here, so fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so he's great though. I'm just like, I know everybody's like, my dog's so smart, but like my coyote is a genius.
And you still have him?
Oh yeah. He's my baby.
Oh,
his name is Paco. He's like
goodness.
he's just hilarious and such an amazing travel companion, and is always game for a hike.
For me, it's like, come on, this is like, I don't know if it's a reality show. I don't know if it's a sitcom, but you traveling the world in your camper, doing stand-up with your coyote dog. I don't know. It's a natural in my opinion. And then once you have the baby, that's season 2.
That's season 2.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what I keep saying. I got to write a pilot.
And you can.
I can.
Yeah, because you have the education.
Yep, exactly. So.
Oh wow. So that was great. I'm really, I don't know. I'm happy and excited for you. I think I see only good things on the horizon. And when I come to Panama City, I'm staying in your little beach cottage.
Absolutely,
visiting with you. And that's going to be fun.
Definitely.
But we do end with 3 questions, and I'll give them to you one at a time.
Okay, I'm ready.
Is there something you hope to lose in the next year? Not counting the needle phobia, because you already lost that.
Yes, this is a little bit more low key than that. But litter. I am currently right now toilet training my cat, and I would love to never have to deal with cat litter ever again. So I'm hoping to lose cat litter.
Okay, I even forgot about the cat. So now that you've got the camper and the stand-up and the coyote dog and the cat who pees and poops in the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to sell this fucking pilot. I'm telling you right now.
Or get committed.
Yeah. Hi, Aubree. No, we're passing on the pilot, but could you meet us in a parking lot of a mental hospital?
Right.
Okay. I like that. And guess what? No one has said that before.
Great.
No one has said litter. And even when you first said it, I thought, oh, she's cleaning things out. Like, she's getting rid of
like
anti-clutter. No, she means literally kitty litter.
Cat litter. I hate it. It's always everywhere.
It's disgusting. It's the worst.
So gross.
It's the worst.
Yep.
The worst.
Yep.
Okay. So is there something you hope to gain in the next year?
Oh, I think, I mean, this is probably kind of generic, but I think probably just more adventures. I mean, I hope that within the next 12 months, that would be potentially like motherhood for, adventuring, but, seeing some manatees, anything, just like more memories, more adventures.
It might be marine mammal related. It might be human mammal related, but some adventures.
Adventures. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, more adventures.
I'm pretty sure you're going to gain some of those. I have a feeling. Oh, okay. And the last question is, there's something you hope you never lose?
Yes. I would like to never lose the confidence that I have to go ahead and just like try new stuff and like do new things and like pick up an instrument or go get my needle phobia taken care of. Just like keep feeling like I can do what I want to do.
Absolutely. And what was that instrument that you were playing?
Mandolin.
So cool. And when did you start learning? How long have you been playing the mandolin? I picked that up last week.
No,
because I'm from Nebraska and we just get shit done.
No, I started. Oh gosh, I guess it was about 2 years ago that I picked it up, and it was one of those kind of just on a little bit on a whim thing, as most of my life choices are. We were helping clean up my grandma's house, and we found this like old bowl back mandolin, and I was like, well, I think I kind of have to learn it because it's here. And everyone was like, and everybody kind of looked at me and just like went back to work. And then I signed up for lessons.
I'm glad it was a mandolin, because if it was a harp, it would have been a harp. If you'd found a harp,
I would have made it work.
So much harder to fit in. And you would have. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Well, this was so much fun. And I knew you were going to be fun, but you surprised me. You've surprised me about 5 times. So yeah, that's good. And so you're out on the road again, and do you have any dates that you want to promote? Any place you're going to be?
Well, my birthday show is the only show, because I'm kind of on vacation right now. So the only show that I've got coming up in August is in Omaha at the Backline Comedy Club. It is on August 14th.
I think this is coming out in September.
Oh.
So you got any September dates? Or can you just send people to your website?
Let's send people to my website, because I don't remember anything past August.
You shouldn't have to.
Yeah, but my website is www.love.dog.com. And that is where I keep all of my dates. And also during the pandemic, I started a dog bakery and scarf shop. Okay,
you just like, my self-esteem is plummeting.
Oh, stop.
It's plummeting. No.
Stop.
Yeah. I mean, I even liked you after the mandolin. But now that you're with the pet bakery, I don't know. I thought we could be friends, but I'm not sure now.
Oh, please. I'll send you some scarves.
Oh, well, this was so much fun. So guys, follow Aubree on her YouTube channel, check out her website. And the website will be in the notes. It's got this word LUV in it. Beyond that, I missed it. And check out what dates, because guess what? The world is opening up, and she's traveling with a cat and a dog and no litter and a mandolin. So, and she's funny as shit. So check her out.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. So she was so fun and adorable. And I feel like I know sort of the whole Nebraska sort of, I can do it, I'll figure it out thing, right? Yeah. I really love that about her.
Yeah. Strong.
Oh, I'm out in the middle of nowhere and my RV doesn't work. Better figure it out. That's because from my upbringing, would start to weep softly, and but she's like, "Oh, fucking figure it out." No, I liked her; she was fun, and I'm looking forward to the sitcom or the reality show based on her crazy life.
There's something there.
There's something there, right?
Yeah.
So she was great. Check her out, guys. So we have a fan letter, right?
We do, from last week's, from Pulse.
So yeah, we have a fan letter from the Paul Green episode, and we asked people if they had gotten any internal or external signs that sort of told them what sort of their next chapter could be, or created a shift and a change in their life. So
Yes. So before you read the letter, I just want to say that this letter is actually different than a lot of the letters we're getting. It is asking you for advice.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll give it. Okay, I'm ready. Hi, Nelsie. So I've been struggling with manifesting a soulmate for quite some time now. And throughout the last 6 to 8 months or so, I've been seeing spikes in synchronicity like 111, 222, 333, 444, and 555 that just give me a feeling that my affirmations and journaling aren't going unheard by the angels. Every time I journal out all of the physical and personality attributes in my soulmate, the feelings I want to feel being with her, my desire to be a committed husband and father, I see 222 and 111 right afterwards. I'm glad he's not seeing 666 because we know what that is. Okay. But this makes me beg the question on what should I do in the meantime while I wait for these manifestations to come into my life. I see so many signs, but I still feel like I have little direction in terms of letting it come to me. I know all about letting go and letting the manifestations come to you, but I just feel a little confused on the process. Nelsie, do you have any tips? That is from Anton K. Wow. Well, I don't know if I'm up to the task, but I will do my best. Well, one of the things that I've heard a lot in terms of when you're looking for a partner is that you want, you write that list of what you want your partner to be. I don't really go in for the term soulmate because, I don't know if that exists or not, but I think that sometimes that can create a limiting belief. But so if you have all these lists of what you want your soulmate to be, what you're looking for in a partner, you work really hard on becoming that person. You look at those attributes and you ask yourself, am I that person? So if you're looking for somebody who's generous and giving and understanding and funny, then work on becoming the most generous person you can be and the most giving person you can be, and somebody who appreciates somebody else's sense of humor, that kind of thing. That's one of the things that I've heard about. It's interesting because I met my husband when I stopped looking. So I also think, right?
Yeah.
Don't you think so, Ronnie? Don't you think that can do it?
Yeah, I feel like when you try too hard to look, you're gonna make some mistakes, and you can't push that stuff. I feel.
Yeah. If you just, it's sort of like, for a while I quit showbiz, and I always put quit in quotes because it's not like I had this huge show business career that I quit. But I stopped pursuing it because the pursuit of it wasn't making me happy. And so every time I'd go, oh, well, maybe I should, and I'd think about what I was supposed to do, I'd remind myself, oh, right, I'm not doing that anymore. And there was this calm that came over me of letting go of the pursuit. And it changed my relationship to it. So I would trust the process. And when you start feeling frustrated, like, where's that soulmate? And why aren't they here yet? And just go, oh, right, I'm right on schedule. Oh, right, I'm not pursuing that now. I'm trusting that it's going to come to me. So that perhaps those two changes of energy there, and also that idea of focusing on you becoming the partner that you would like to have.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Wow. That's all I got.
I think that's great.
Do you?
I think that's great.
I love Ronnie.
I feel like the first part of it, saying that that list, try to be that list as well. I feel like that will also really help, because let's say on that list is like being like super generous. Like, so how do you do that? You would do things like go out of your way, or you go to places where you can do that. And maybe at those places where other people are being generous, you would meet that person. And, it's,
right. But,
you
got to be careful, because you can't do that generous thing thinking, oh, maybe I'll meet her there. right?
That's the
And
thing.
so it's a little,
That's why your second point comes into play. You know what I mean?
yeah. And God, one other thing I was going to say. Oh, and look, if you do manifest, if you're into manifesting, then you understand that one of the most important things that you do in that manifesting thing is if you're going to meditate about it and you picture this person, then you don't need to picture them physically. Picture what it feels like to have that partner. Feel the gratitude that you have. Feel the joy that you have when you have that partner, when you're doing whatever it is you want to do with that partner. And that feeling, then you start to vibrate that way. And then that's what you're going to attract to you. At least that's what they tell me. And I will say that using those techniques, I've made a huge shift in my life. I have this podcast. Ronnie came to me. Ronnie, I was totally manifested Ronnie. And I've had a huge change in my financial life because of using those techniques. So yeah. And don't forget to have fun.
Have fun.
Again, I had one more thing I was going to say and I forgot. So I think we did it, Anton. So keep us posted, right?
Oh, true.
Keep us posted on that and trust it. Trust the process and gratitude. Gratitude is the best, right? The other day I was feeling what?
Gratitude is the best. That's
best. You know what I'm grateful for? Gratitude.
Yeah. That's so funny.
The other day I was feeling bad and I was like, nothing has changed in my life, right? I still live in the same house. I have the same haircut. I have the same husband. I have the same podcast. I have the same students. And I was just feeling like down. And so I was like, that's weird that I'm feeling down, and reminded myself that nothing has changed. What's changed is my feeling. And then I remembered the tool of gratitude. So as I walked my dog, I just said, I'm going to come up with 100 things I'm grateful for. And you know what? It wasn't hard.
Yeah. Wow. Really?
Yeah. I'm grateful for Ronnie. I'm grateful for my dog. I'm grateful for my car. I'm grateful for blue skies. I'm grateful for music. I'm grateful for right? I mean, there's
it's a good
lot
exercise.
It's such a good exercise. And let me tell you, by my grateful thing number 15, my mood had already changed.
Wow.
So there you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Solve the world.
Thank you. There's a new section. On Losing It. Nelsie solves the world. All right. So I think we did it. So hey, we need a letter, and you know what? I think we know what that letter's going to be.
What's that?
Right?
What is it?
Getting over a phobia.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Aubree went to a hypnotherapist, and she got rid of a lifelong phobia about needles that caused her to pass out and knock out her 2 front teeth. So that's pretty huge. So please, if anybody out there has had a phobia that you've gotten over, what was the phobia and how'd you get over it? Contact us at losingitcontact@gmail.com and tell us your story. All right? All right.
Okay.
And beyond that, rate, review, and subscribe. Please subscribe. It means so much to us. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your neighbors. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe. Our numbers are growing. I noticed that the other day. I got very excited. I'm grateful for our subscribers. And you can always DM us on Instagram. You can also comment below if you're watching us on YouTube. Give us the thumbs up. And you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at Losing It Podcast. And the last thing I have to say that I don't want you ever to forget is please don't poop in the ocean.
Losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it. You came and you listened to the story. I hope so much that it didn't make you sorry, and I hope so much that you'll come back again.
Losing It, hosted by Nelsie Spencer, produced by me, Ronnie Whaley. Theme song by Hunter Williams. Follow us online on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and all podcasting platforms at Losing It Podcast. Viewers can email Nelsie with questions or comments about life, writing, comedy, or even your own Losing It story for a chance to be on the Losing It Podcast at losingitcontact@gmail.com. For everything Nelsie and everything Losing It, visit us at nelsiespencer.com.